Well, new efforts tonight to stifle the national debate on illegal immigration and border security. From the ACLU to the government of Mexico, the Open Borders lobby is demanding an end to immigration law enforcement and free speech. This is, at the very least, a vast left-wing and right-wing conspiracy. Casey Ryan has our report.
The American Civil Liberties Union is demanding that Congress crack down on raids, deportations, and other alleged violations of civil liberties by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. It's the latest effort by supporters of expanded rights for illegal aliens to stop immigration law enforcement in the United States, which they claim is a response to their street demonstrations.
Our historic and record-breaking marches were answered by Bush with an aggressive and very public campaign of hate, terror, degrading the human dignity, and separating our families through humiliating public raids and deportations.
The ACLU claims ICE has conducted dragnet-style raids of homes and businesses to sweep for immigrants, separated parents from their children, and held them without due process in immigration detention facilities. In fact, ICE says their enforcement actions only target egregious violators of immigration law, illegal aliens who've committed other crimes, and fugitives. Agents routinely release illegal aliens on humanitarian grounds, such as child care. Still, religious groups and the Mexican government have joined the chorus equating immigration law enforcement or the discussion of the topic with hate and prejudice.
Future generations will judge us by the decisions we take today. Did we work together to provide organized and humane migration, or did we continue to allow hundreds to die each year?
While Mexico's president recently spoke of working together to solve the illegal immigration crisis, he also told the New York Times so-called anti-immigrant rhetoric by U.S. politicians and talk show hosts, quote, has generated an atmosphere full of prejudice. Even U.S. presidential candidates are chiming in.
So when I hear Rush Limbaugh or, Lou Dobbs or some of these people talking about how we need to send them all back, we're not going to send them all back.
Apparently, Senator Obama is not aware that Lou Dobbs tonight has never advocated mass deportations. As for the ACLU, it first agreed to discuss its claims on camera with CNN, but after being told the interview would be used for Lou Dobbs tonight, the ACLU changed its mind, saying something came up. The group denied that had anything to do with this broadcast. Lou.
Well, let's give them something to think about. The ACLU's comments here and criticism of Immigration Customs Enforcement are simply outrageous, so that's where we can start the negotiations for whether or not they want to come on. The fact is that the ACLU has just been, it is no longer a civil rights organization. It is joining other organizations that have historically been watchdog groups, have been, committed to a higher standard of public service. They're nothing more than advocacy groups themselves. Now, you heard Senator Obama. I'd like you, if you would, to listen again to what Senator Obama said today attacking me. And I want to point out, this is not the first time the senator has attacked me. Let's listen in.
When I hear Rush Limbaugh or, Lou Dobbs or some of these people talking about how we need to send them all back, we're not going to send them all back. First of all, there's a country of immigrants. Second of all, as a practical matter, we would end up having to use all of our law enforcement resources to round people up, detain them, separate families. It's not a realistic solution. We're not going to be able to solve the problem if we're just shouting about it, like Lou Dobbs and folks on television.
Well, Senator Obama, a couple of things. One is you say you can't possibly deport folks. Well, let's look at the record, because in the 1970s, more than 10 million illegal aliens were actually deported during that period of time. So it is within our capacity. And as a man who's running on an aspirational agenda and campaign, you might consider what the possibilities are for this country rather than its limitations. This country can do whatever it sets its mind to doing. The other thing is, I'm just curious about who in the world you think you're kidding. You can pander. You're a world-class panderer. Most presidential candidates are. But I have to say, you didn't, in my opinion, do a very good job today. You said, as I recall, you said that we can't send all of those folks back. And then you said you won't send all of those folks back. Now, that isn't very good pandering. You know, Casey Wine, you're still there. I mean, I'm sort of shocked that he would not, if he's going to pander, shouldn't Senator Obama, shouldn't he get really, you know, say he's not going to send anyone back? Do you think that'd be a little stronger than, well, we're not going to send everybody back?
Yeah, there's a lot of confusing things about this statement, Lou. And first of all, it sounds like he's reading from the script written by some of these organizations that were in our report, the ACLU, MALDEF, La Raza. I mean, he's talking about fear-mongering. He's talking about rounding up folks in mass numbers. He's talking about separating families. He's equating legal immigration with illegal immigration. These are all of the tactics and the words that are used by these open borders advocacy groups. And it's also surprising in that he's the front runner. You wouldn't think he would need to resort to this kind of a disinformation campaign, this pandering, as you put it. Perhaps he is so worried about the Latino vote in the remaining states. He did, only get about a third of the Latino vote in Texas. Perhaps he's worried about that going forward. But it sure seems that by distorting the record of people like you, people like Rush Limbaugh, who we were unable to contact today, but we did see some of the statements that he's made in the past about illegal immigration, and he also has never, that we could find, called for mass deportations of people. So you really got to wonder what's going through Senator Obama's head here, Lou.
Well, I want to say to Senator Obama right now, you owe me an apology because you've distorted my position. One, I have never talked about rounding folks up. I certainly have never called for deportation. And tell your advisors, if they're going to help you pander, Senator Obama, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, do us all a favor, do it with some style. You know, don't just say you're not going to send everybody back. You know, that isn't quite good enough. Why don't you let me do this, may I? I'm going to raise the ante for you here tonight. Senator Obama, I'm going to pander to that group and show you how it's done. And I'm going to pander them, though, however, by telling them the truth. Folks, if you are Latino, if you're an illegal immigrant, take note. I have never called for you to be deported. And unlike Senator Obama, who would not send you all back, I won't send any of you back. How's that? Do you think that would work? I think I just out-pandered you, Senator Obama. I hope that you will issue that apology now that we've set the record straight here. What do you think, Casey Wine?
I'm not going to hold my breath, Lou.
Okay. Casey Wyan, thank you very much. We are in the grip, as you can see. When Senator Obama, all of these socio-ethnocentric interest groups, ACLU, when they're all doing this concerted, you don't have to have much of an imagination to see that it's clearly an amnesty open borders offensive and trying to stifle a national debate. That brings us to our poll question tonight. Do you believe Senator Obama is intentionally misrepresenting my position on illegal immigration? We'd like to hear from you on this, yes or no. Cast your vote at LouDobbs.com. We'll have the results here in just a little later.